All right, guys, this is going to be my ranking of all 27 Pixar movies. Would like to make it known that I'm not the best person to go to when it comes to talking about movies, so I'm not really going to have a whole lot of in-depth analysis or anything when talking about these movies. It's all going to be just some broad stuff about how I personally feel about each movie. Um, and yeah, there's no real structure to my list. It's mostly just my ranking, and I don't really have a clear structure of how I rank them either. Well, yeah, with that said, let's get started here. So first off, this is the timeline order of how to watch them. So this is the order that I watched them in. So if you want to do what I did, you just go through this order and watch them in this order to give you the timeline order of the Pixar multiverse, basically. So yeah, let's get started here. At 27, we got Turning Red at a rating of 45 out of 100. I definitely think this is the weakest Pixar film by quite a bit. It's not a good movie. I think it's entertaining, but I don't think it's good. It's definitely more entertaining than some other ones on this list, probably, but I would definitely not think it's better than either of any other Pixar movie. But I definitely could see like a little kid like being like liking this one better because it is probably more entertaining than some other ones on this list. But I definitely think it's a pretty weak film. 26 is going to be Brave at a rated of 67 out of 100, so a pretty big jump up. Definitely think Brave is a lot better of a movie than Turning Red, but Turning Red is probably more entertaining, especially for children. But I definitely think this movie was pretty cool, and it's very, very important to the Pixar universe timeline and stuff. But it definitely kind of feels less like a Pixar movie, more just like a Disney movie. It's been speculated that this movie and Wreck-It Ralph came out in the same year, and it was like, did they just mix up which one they called Pixar? Because like Wreck-It Ralph would feel like more of a Pixar movie, while this felt more like a Disney movie. But this is very important to the Pixar timeline, so that's like kind of debunks all that. But yeah, I thought it was a good movie. Just didn't even think it was a special Pixar movie here. Next up is going to be The Good Dinosaur at 25 with a rating of 73, so a little bit of a step up from Brave. I think it's better than Brave. It's definitely like more emotional than Brave. I don't think there's really much of any emotion to Brave because, I mean, you obviously know that like in Brave, obviously, you know what's going to happen. You know the mom's not going to stay a bear forever, so it's not really emotional there. This one's a little bit more emotional because like, you got Arlo and Spot, some random people that become friends along the way, and then Arlo has to return Spot to his family, even though Spot kind of wanted to stay with Arlo, but Arlo made him go back to his family. So that was a little bit of an emotional moment there, which I think definitely makes that a little bit of a better movie here than Brave. And there's definitely some parallels here to like The Lion King with the dad getting wiped out and stuff. 24 is going to be Lightyear at a 75 out of 100. So I did not really like this movie that much. I feel like it was generally poorly received by most audiences. I mean, it didn't really seem like a very necessary movie at all, obviously. But even then, I don't even think this movie makes a whole lot of sense because it's like supposed to be the movie that Andy watches to make him want to get a Buzz Lightyear toy or whatever. But like, I just don't really think it was that much of an entertaining movie. I did like socks and stuff. It definitely had an interesting concept, but it felt, very much kind of like a Star Wars-esque rip-off type thing at some points with all the space and stuff like that, but I don't really think it was that great of a movie. 23 is going to be Cars 2 at a rating of 80 out of 100, so you can see here, like an 80 rating is probably like a pretty solid rating, and it only comes in at number 23 on this list because I generally like all of these Pixar movies, so I really couldn't give much of these things very low of ratings. So the 80 is still a very good movie, but on the Pixar scale, obviously not towards the top. And Cars 2 is definitely one of the least liked Pixar movies out there, and I definitely can understand why. I think it's better than some of those other movies. It's definitely more entertaining than a movie like Lightyear or Brave or The Good Dinosaur, probably. I think it's better than those because you at least got all your likable characters here. We liked Lightning McQueen, we liked Mater. Mater's obviously a little bit annoying in this one, but I just think it was an interesting story, just not a very good and well thought out story. 22 is going to be Monsters Inc. at a rating of 82. This is definitely low compared to where most people have this. Most people think it's one of the best, probably top 10 Pixar movie. I'm kind of on the opposite end. I don't really think it was that good. I thought it was, you know, obviously a good movie, and I like the relationship with Sully and Boo, but like, I don't really, I don't get emotionally attached to it at all because it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense of why Sully actually gets attached to Boo. That didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. So like, I really don't resonate with this movie a whole lot, and I don't really like it on a scale that most people do. But I still think it's a pretty solid movie. Number 21 is going to be A Bug's Life at 83. So I think it's better than Monsters Inc. I thought it was definitely like a pretty cool concept and stuff at the time, and it's a good story with Flick and stuff. I did like the circus people, the circus bugs, and I thought it was cool. Um, whatever, a cool reference to P.T. Barnum because that's what whatever their circus is. It's Barnum Circus basically. So that was pretty cool to see a little bit of a reference there that I picked up on this time. But I thought it was a good movie, a little bit better than Monsters Inc. Number 20 is going to be Elemental at a rating of 85. This one is a little bit obviously, it's like the most new Pixar movie, so a lot of people probably haven't even watched it. I thought it was a pretty good movie. It's definitely emotional at times in here, and it's a little bit of a weird like family dynamic where, well, because the fire is basically like the odd one out, and we can't. Fire is not supposed to be really mixed in with the rest of the world, but then when the rest of the world accepts the fire and her family, Ember's family, can't doesn't like it doesn't accept the rest of the world, specifically water. So when you have, it's a little bit backwards because you think the world's not supposed to be meant for fire for Ember, so she's supposed to be the odd one out. But then her family, is making water dude not feel um like he belongs. So there's a little bit of a weird family dynamic in there. Basically, fire people don't like the water people, but then they grew to obviously accept him or whatever. So I thought it was a good movie there. Number 19 is going to be Incredibles 2 at 86. Definitely worse than the first Incredibles. I thought it was still a pretty good movie, and 86 is like still a really good rating. And it only comes in at number 19 because I do think Pixar just has a lot of great movies, but it's definitely worse than the original Incredibles. So yeah, I don't really got a whole lot to say about this one. Number 18 is going to be Up at 87. Up's a really fun story. I really love Doug and stuff. Doug's really cool. Obviously, the opening stuff between Carl and Ellie is very emotional. That's really all the emotion you get in this movie. Also, you get a little bit of something that um, Carl's basically acts as Russell's father figure throughout this movie, and like towards the end, that's basically what the relationship seems to grow into, which is certainly cool. And Carl never had any kids or something, so Russell's basically like his adopted grandson, or basically you want to call that right now, which is kind of cool that they have a little bit of a relationship at the end of the movie still. Number 17 is going to be Finding Dory at 88. I thought this was a really good movie. I really do like Finding Dory. Definitely worse than Finding Nemo, but I don't really think it's that much worse. I liked all the new characters, Hank and Bailey, and I thought it was a really interesting story to go here in this movie. And obviously, like the animation stuff was great with all the water and stuff that they had to do with this, but I thought it was a good movie for sure. Number 16 is going to be Ratatouille at 89. I like Ratatouille. Ratatouille is, definitely regarded as one of the best Pixar movies, not necessarily by audience members, but more by movie critics and stuff, because like of its dynamic and stuff. I don't really know exactly the reasoning why those critics have it so highly regarded, but I definitely agree with it because it definitely has it's just like has a complete different type of feel. Has a complete different type of feel than like all these other movies, and I think I like it in a very very good way. I think it's definitely in a tier of its own in that category, but like as far as just overall enjoyment from the movie, it comes here at number 16. Number 15 is going to be Luca at a 90. So if you can obviously do the math here, I got 15 movies left, and I'm already at 90 rating out of 100. So we're gonna have a lot of movies here jumping up together, probably giving like a point 0.5 scale or something like a point 0.5 rating because um, it's very hard to separate some of these very top movies. But I thought Luca was really good. I thought it was really fun. There's not really a whole lot to this one. It's just like a very, very fun movie, I think. So, there's constantly stuff going on. And it is good, a little bit emotional too at times. Um, and I thought obviously, like the ending where, um, I forget his name, Luca and his friend, the other dude friend, like pushes Luca away at the end of the summer to go with the girl to school because Luca really wanted to go to school while his other friend just wanted to sit here and stay there and work with the girl's father or whatever. But Luca wanted to stay with the dude friend, but he also wanted to go to school, and his dude friend just made the decision for him and let Luca go, which is was a little bit emotional there. Number 14 is going to be Soul at a rating of 90.5. I thought Soul was a really good movie. It comes here at the very middle of the Pixar list, which probably seems about right. It's definitely, the movie that tackles the most deep stuff, has the deepest meaning and stuff, tackles literally the meaning of life. So definitely a good movie and tackles some very important things. And if you watch this movie, you'll probably have a better outlook on life after watching it and just feel more overall satisfied with your own life. That's basically what the movie is trying to go for, is that you don't need to have a purpose in life. Your purpose in life is to live your life or something. I don't know, something like that. Um, your life's purpose is not to find meaning, is what it basically is saying. The meaning of life is not to find your purpose. The meaning of life, or the I don't know, something. I don't know how the thing goes, but no, I'm just going to move on. Number 13 is going to be Inside Out, 91. So this was obviously, a really good movie, one of the more emotional movies, literally. And obviously Inside Out 2 is going to be coming out soon, in about like 3 or so months. So that should be fun. But this was obviously a really good movie and very emotional at moments with, Bing Bong sacrificing his life so Joy can go and save Riley and stuff. That was really emotional. We love Bing Bong. Bing Bong's probably one of the best characters in the Pixar universe. This was a very, very fun movie and definitely emotional as well. Number 12 is going to be Monsters University at a rating of 91.5. So a lot of people would probably think that like Monsters Inc. should be in this spot and then Monsters University should be down where I ranked Monsters Inc. But I think this one's a lot better than Monsters Inc. I think it's definitely a more entertaining movie, an entertaining story. Um, we got the underdog story, Revenge of the Nerds type of stuff to it, and it's definitely, I think, more fun and entertaining than Monsters Inc. because there's less stakes than Monsters Inc. So it's just a lot more fun rather than like them having to hide the child and like you're always wondering, are they gonna get caught? Are they gonna get caught? In Monsters Inc. This one, you're just like, okay, yeah, it's kind of predictable because they're gonna win the thing. Because like, if they didn't win the thing, that's that movie would kind of be stupid at that point. But like, it was still very fun to see how they got there and stuff, and it was all for your entertainment. It's not like, are they gonna get caught? Like in Monsters Inc. It's more like, this is cool. How are they going to win this next one? How are they going to do this? Like, just thinking about how they're going to do something good rather than when are they going to do something bad in the first one. So that's why I think this one's a lot better than Monsters Inc. 11 is going to be Wall-E at a rating of 92. Obviously, really good movie, very emotional movie. It's very interesting. Like the first 30 minutes or so of this movie, there's basically zero dialogue other than some a couple robotic words between the two of these characters. And definitely one of the more emotional films of the movie when you can see in Wally's eyes the amount of emotion that he has here with Eve. And that is very telling to how the good Pixar is with all their animation and stuff because they can make a robot. They can make robots show emotion very, very well with just his eyes. So that's really cool. And, it's a very interesting movie to think about when you're looking at the overall concept where, Earth is becoming trash and our only hope is to go into space. And then you think, well, the companies that sending us to space just want us to be fat and lazy. Well, America is becoming more lazy all the time, and all these new companies is like Apple Vision Pro and stuff is basically making us more and more lazy and stuff. So it's kind of interesting to look at that stuff in today's light. Number 10 is going to be Onward at 92.5. I don't think a lot of people have this one ranked. Definitely not in their top 10, but I think it was a really, really good movie. It was a very fun story. Um, I love all the mythical adventure and stuff type of movies. You got a good cast here with Tom Holland, Chris Pratt. That's obviously, um, cool. And I thought it was a really good story. You got the, you know, good emotional bondage here between the boys and their dad and the boys and each other, thinking that Ian had the list of everything he wanted to do with his dad, and then he crossed off everything on his list because he did all of those with Barley, who has essentially been his father figure, um, because he never had his own dad. So that was really emotional part of there. And then Ian really wanted to see his dad, but they only had time for one of them to see him, and Ian made sure that Barley could say goodbye rather than Ian saying hello. So that was really cool to see, and definitely an emotional moment of the film. Number 9 is going to be The Incredibles at a 93. So it's a really good movie, obviously. One of the better superhero movies in general, not just like animated or something, but I thought it was really good. I love basically everything about this movie. The action sequences are great. The story I thought was really good as well. And it's just very, very entertaining throughout like the entire movie. That's really all I got to say about that one. Number 8 is going to be Coco at a 93.5. I thought this was really good. Definitely an emotional movie. Tackles the meanings of the afterlife and stuff, and basically thinking that you have to, about the power of memory. Like you need to remember your ancestors so that they stay alive in the afterlife is basically the entire point of this film, which basically can help us to like remember to not forget about our ancestors or our current family members. So like when they, end up passing away, that we still remember them, and that we make sure our children or grandchildren also remember them. We want to be able to keep our family members' memories alive for as long as we can. Obviously, it's not, exactly to the extent of they're going to die in the afterlife if we don't remember them, but a part of them, is going to be a little bit upset in the afterlife, like, like in the real life, afterlife, heaven, or if you want to believe in something else, if there's afterlife, um, if you're in the afterlife and nobody on earth remembers you, it's going to be a little bit depressing. But if you are in the afterlife and you see all your ancestors, like remember you and stuff, it's going to be, you're going to be a little bit more happy. So we still need to try to remember our ancestors, probably. So it's obviously, not a bad thing to not a bad thing to remember them. Number 7 is going to be Toy Story 2 at 94. So this is the weakest of the Toy Story films, in my opinion. A lot of people probably think Toy Story 4 is the weakest, which definitely makes sense. But I think this one's currently probably the weakest one. I think they're making a Toy Story 5 or something, which just sounds kind of dumb. I don't even know where they're going to go with that, but I also didn't know if they're going to go with Toy Story 4, and I, ended up liking that movie. But this one I think is the weakest one. I do like the new characters with Jesse and Bullseye and those people and stuff, but like it's not, like it's a really really good movie. It's going to be hard to be critical about this one or the other Toy Story movies, but I just this and Toy Story 3 had a similar plot and stuff, and I think Toy Story 3 was more entertaining. The like this one didn't really have like an escape plot that we had in Toy Story 3, which I think is going to be more of the reason why it's coming in here, like at number 7 on the list. Number 6 is going to be Cars 3 at a 94.5. A lot of people don't really like the Cars movies as much as I do. I had Cars 2 near the bottom, but some people would probably still have it even lower than where I did. A lot of people would have Cars 3 a lot lower than number 6 on their list. I just, really do love the Cars franchise a lot more than most people. And I think this one's a really, really good movie. I love all the actions, like all the racing sequences and stuff. I love the entire story. I love the character progression in Lightning McQueen himself, as well as his mentorship and his relationship with Cruz. And, going back to see Smokey, Doc's old um, crew chief and stuff was also like really cool. I really do like the entirety of this movie. Just seems really really cool, and you can be kind of nostalgic in the Cars universe. You can feel Lightning McQueen's nostalgia and stuff, and that just makes you also feel nostalgic, and you feel for him, and you can definitely feel the emotion um, between like Lightning McQueen learning from Doc's old crew chief and stuff, and then him all obviously going on to mentor Cruz as well. It's a lot of good things going on in this movie. Number 5 is going to be Finding Nemo at 95. A lot of people probably have this roughly around their top 5. It's one of the best movies in Pixar. It's definitely one of the best animated ones. Anything with Pixar and water is beautifully animated, and this one takes place, majority like specifically in water, and it's just so beautifully animated and stuff. I do love the story. So obviously emotional at the very beginning with Marlin losing, his entire family except for one little egg, and then he gives Nemo the name Nemo because his wife wanted to name one of the fish Nemo. So I mean, there's got a really good story, obviously, with Dora and Marlin's relationship. I think it's really good. Nemo in the fish tank, just that's a really good. I think that's a really good, um, cool thing. I think they played that good when he was in the fish tank, getting all his support from everybody else. Like even though they were trapped in here in the fish tank and they didn't really have any place else to go, or that they wanted to go, they all helped Nemo to get back to his family and stuff. So thought it was really cool there. Number 4 is going to be Toy Story 4 at 96. So like I said, a lot of people probably have this a lot lower on their list, mostly because they didn't feel the need for the movie, which makes sense because Andy's story is done, but Andy was never the main character in the Pixar movie. It was always Woody was the main character. At least Woody and Buzz was the main character. Woody never got his story to end. So this movie felt as the ending of Woody's story. He obviously, like he was not being played with as much with Bonnie anymore, but he had to mentor Forky basically, and then he met up with his old friend Bo Peep, and then he got that whole thing. I thought it was a really, really fun story. I loved everything about the gift shop stuff, and with Gabby Gabby, that was some emotional moments in there. And definitely at the end when, Woody wanted to help Gabby Gabby, and even though she was still trying to basically like destroy Woody the whole movie and stuff, he still helped her, and then she ended up getting with her kid at the end, which was really good to see. And definitely was an emotional moment at the ending when Woody decided to leave Buzz and the rest of the toys to go spend life as a toy on the run, basically as a lost toy with Bo Peep. Really good story. I really do like this movie, and I think it was very, very entertaining throughout the entirety of the movie. And all of our new characters are really, really great. Forky's obviously cool. I like the new Bo Peep a lot more than the old Bo Peep. I like Ducky and Bunny. They're really cool. I believe that's Key and Peele as Ducky and Bunny. And then we got Duke Kaboom is really cool as well. Number 3 is going to be Toy Story 1 at 97. It's Toy Story. Everybody knows what Toy Story is. It was the very first Pixar movie. It's obviously has some dated animation because it's been almost 30 years, but it's still a very, very good movie, and the animation still holds up, fairly well for being nearly 30 years old. And obviously, there's not a whole lot of emotion in this movie, I would say, but I think it's a very, very cool story, and it's very entertaining throughout the entirety of the movie. Number 2 is going to be Toy Story 3 at a rating of 99. So I think this is the best Toy Story movie I think all of them are extremely entertaining. I think this one is the most entertaining, specifically for everything that happens, during their like escape plan and escape plot and stuff at Sunnyside Daycare. I think all of that is really cool. Um, the prison break sequences and stuff is like I think very, very entertaining and very cool to see how they go about all that stuff. And that's definitely the highlight of the movie. And then it's obviously very emotional when you think all your toys are gonna die basically in the furnace and stuff. And then um yeah, and then obviously, leaving Andy to go get gifted to Bonnie. Could be also more emotional seeing Andy play with his toys one last time at the end. Definitely, definitely an emotional moment, and it makes you realize that, like when I watch it now, it makes me realize that I'm all grown up and stuff. It just like, that just hits more because you can feel that with Andy as well. My number one is going to be Cars at a rating of 100. It's only fitting that the number one movie gets a rating of 100. My number one movie just happens to be Cars. Like I said earlier, a lot of people don't hold the Cars franchise in as high as of a regard as I do, but I can't really explain it that much. I just really love the entire story of this movie. I love the entire story of Radiator Springs itself. Like a small town that was big and now it got overlooked, and now it's, because of one character, one person in Lightning McQueen here. Um, he basically brought the town back on the map. I think it's a really good redemption story for Lightning McQueen. 'Cause at the beginning of the movie, he's not necessarily a likable character. He's very arrogant and stuff, but then he, settles down and like he's forced to settle down and be stuck in this town for like a couple weeks or whatever, like a week, and then he, just uh, builds some very good relationships to everybody, and ends up falling in love with the town and everybody else in the town. So I think it's a really good story there. Then obviously the racing sequences are great, and it's cool to see him with his relationship with Doc and how he looked up to Doc, and now how he stops himself. He basically gives up first place in the Grand Prix or whatever to help the King finish his last race because he didn't want the King's career to end like Doc's career ended. So that was obviously like an emotional moment there as well. Not necessarily like you're gonna start, tearing up as whatever, but you can just feel that emotion, and you're very, very like excited, and you're just proud of Lightning McQueen in that moment for not just thinking about himself and his career. But yeah, that's going to be the movie. We got our whole rankings list right here, so you can just see everything at once. But that is going to be my ranking of the Pixar movies. Let me know what you thought about it, and let me know what your favorite Pixar movies would be as well. So thank you for watching. Let me know if you want me to rank any other movie franchises. I'll probably get started on something else. I'll do the MCU movies here at some point, but I'm probably just going to end up waiting until after the Deadpool movie to come out with that one. So I'll probably work on something else in the meantime. But yeah, thank you.